Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly, Miller's still start trouble. He's touched on second and change.
Does he have it? Medeiros is going to get it. They're going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly, Miller's still start trouble. He's touched on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry! Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Friday nights. It's the JPB Euro Sprint Cup Round 3 live from Imola. I am James Parfitt. I'm going to be joined in the booth by Mr. Zach Sweeney here this evening. 4.86 kilometres, 19 turns for these guys to battle out here as well. And they're going to be heading into corners such as the Variante Tabarello, Villeneuve, Tosa, Piratella, Acqua Minerale and Variante Alta. And of course, the double left-hander at the end called the Ravazza. It's going to be very interesting, very exciting. Two 20-minute races with a top 15 reverse we've got here ready for you this evening. Let's take a look at the standings here this evening as well. In the AM standings, currently it is Dan Peoples out in front by 11 points over Kev Aylett in second, who's on 55. We're tied with Cooper Akers there as well. Dec Cravat and Scott Malcolm share 53 points, while Chris Barnes is on 49. Chris van der Linde is on 37. Stuart Gibbons 36, Gary McFarlane 25, Paolo Brem 24, and Billy Mole, who has just joined the series today, has yet to score points. In the AM teams, it's Sim Race Sweden Esports Academy out in front on 103 with Blade Designs Gamma in second on 85. Then you've got TART and Sham Racing tied on 55 with Blade Designs on 53. In the pro standings here as well, this is how they're looking like. Dan Mould out in top on 69 with Adam Delmont on 68, and then Adam McNally who's straight behind him on 60. Paddy Faulkner on 53. I believe we have lost Paddy for the rest of the season. He has had PC issues at the moment here as well, unfortunately for Paddy, so it's possible that he may not be back at all for the rest of this season. John Brown in 5th on 49 with Nick Kirsten's on 40. Fraser Garrity on 39. Stephen Van Campden on 34, Kim Andre Bjortland on 19, Carl Jacklett on 19 as well. And JB Deju from BSTV has yet to score. In the pro team standings currently, SRL Next Gen Gold with Adam Dalmont and Adam McNally out in front on 128. SRL Next Gen with Dan Mould and John Brown on 118. Sim Race Sweden Esports with Nick Kirstens and Stephen Van Campden on 74. DCW Racing Faulkner PCs on 73. Insignia on 39. Sim Racing Norway 19. Photo Media 19. And of course BSTV at the back end on 0 currently at the moment. But we could have a chat with a young man, which is Mr. Zach Sweeney, as we have just gone into qualified here as well. Zach, welcome in, dear sir, once more for Fabulous Friday TCR night. How are you? Yeah, absolutely. You know, we are on the European Tour, and as we know, Imola is on the European circuit And I think that's one of the things here as well is there's been a lot of talk this week about Imola. There's been a lot of talk about the fact that the Honda Civics are looking apparently like they're going to really struggle. And as I say that, you probably see a couple of them at the top of the standings because of the fact of the sausage curbs in this track. And that's the situation for these guys at the moment. They've got to try and deal with the sausage curbs. The likes of Adam Dalmont, Adam McNally, Fraser Garrity, and Stephen Van Kampen on your screen as well. They're not loving the sausage curbs in the Civic. So at the moment, the Civic is not the favoured car for Imola. Yeah, maybe. I think that could be the case. I reckon that if we do end up seeing, you know, quite a lot of these Civics try and get up the top, they would have had a really good lap. And I know that Dan Mould has apparently been setting the timing tower light in practice. He was rapid, apparently, well ahead of everybody else. So, you know, let's see how he gets on. He's always a force to beat in the first place anyway. Dan Peoples across the line, no first here. Zach on a 1:56.558. Stephen Van Kampen has gone quicker on a 1:56.426 in the Civic, but you can see how it's bouncing around, how tough it is to handle here, because it's just bouncing every sausage curb.
Yeah, and that's the thing that maybe over the course of a lap, you know, drivers can extract, you know, 1 percent out of a car. But when you've got to drive it for 20 minutes, lap after lap, like slightly runs there for the Dutchman of not getting quite the run that he'd have liked to through the field there of Chicane, unfortunately. Yeah, obviously you've got to drive it for 20 minutes, right? And no one wants to do that if your car doesn't respond to the bumps. And again, as we said, there's a lot of them here at Imola. So maybe the consistency for the Civic is going to be its downfall, not necessarily the one at pace.
Maybe. I think we're going to have to see how this one pans out here. There's Audi drivers that have said it's been okay. You know, John Brown not too bad in the Audi. Gary McFarlane coming out as well. Kim Andre Bjortland's just into the session at the moment, so we'll see what he can do in the Audi. We've got obviously a couple of Velosters. We've got Elantras of Billy Mole. He's a new one into the series, and Cooper Akers, who's been setting the field alight almost with some of his performances, have been awesome. So I think we're still on for that very interesting and pro battle, and I think where everybody is a lot closer, it's really it's harder on the top 15 reverse. That's what I probably want to say.
Well, I mean, it's never easy, full stop, that 15 reverse, of course. You know, with the mix of the pros and the AMs and everyone being intermingled. But, you know, car choices aside and you know, championships aside and things like that, Imola in of itself is going to be a circuit that can be really difficult sometimes to overtake something first. Be interesting to keep an eye on obviously, of course, the front runners as such, but, you know, people at the front who start towards the front of the race too, who are then able to maybe defend over the course of the race. Maybe we could see an outlier in terms of maybe sort of that one-off result of the season. If people are, of course, you know, inclined to defend, they want to defend for the whole race, they're more welcome to. But Imola, with it being so tight and twisty, yes, these TCRs are very racing. Yes, these drivers give each other a lot of respect, but they're not miracle workers. There is only so much they can do with the track that they've been given. Their best bet, probably in that top reverse, the pitch straight going into the San Bruno chicane, even then can be fairly difficult. So you're going to have to really pick and choose your braking points well. And if you've got a car underneath you that doesn't really respond to curbs and being offline and only works well in an optimal environment, i.e. qualifying, then it's going to be tough for you to succeed.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's one of the things we're going to be looking out for. Scott Malcolm is mixing it up here as well. The AM of Scott Malcolm mixing it up against the pros. We've got a Pro-Am, 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 Pro-Am at the moment here once more. We've still got no times on the board for Gary McFarlane or Dan Mould or Stuart Gibbons or Kim Andre Bjorkland. So I think we're going to have to keep an eye out and see how that one goes here currently for them as well. John Brown in the Audi, sitting down in 11th on a 156.38 at the moment. Cooper Akers in 9th currently. He's got some greens on the board as he's just about to go round the last left-hander of the Ravazza, and then he's going to run it all the way down across the line here as well. And let's see how he gets on, keeping it tight to the fence as much as he possibly can. He goes over the line. What is he going to be able to do? Is he going to be able to move up anymore? He does. He moves up to 7th. What about Deck Crowther coming over the line? He is in, moves himself up to 5th overall. 3rd in class for Deck Crowther. So great little gains going on here as well from some of these guys, Zach. And I think it could just be certain circuits suit certain cars, certain circuits suit certain drivers. Others may not get on with them.
Yeah, right, and that's the fluidity that we're going to have over the course of the season. It's why championships are decided over the course of a season and not necessarily, well, most of the time anyway, not necessarily just on a one-off event at one circuit. Because, you know, it demonstrates variety, it allows different manufacturers to show their strengths in terms of their car choices, also shows the drivers to sort of showcase their strengths at different venues and be able to, maybe a weaker circuit, say if drivers don't like Imola as much, they're going to need to do their best to maintain a decent position here as damage limitation for the rest of the season as such. And I love the variety that over the course of the season. Actually, the European side of things, obviously, you know, we've been to the UK, we've been to the US over the course of the last couple of seasons since JPB took over this TCR Championship. But the European thing, there's so much culture, there's so much diversity, there's not necessarily one specific recipe for a racetrack. I mean, you see in the UK, they're all different layouts, but they're vastly the same setup as such. Same with the US tracks. But then you go into Europe, and there are so many different cultures and ideologies of what a racetrack should be packed in such a small amount of space in that continent. And it allows us to have such good choices in terms of the kind of that we get, so much so that, you know, have a really diverse set of cars and tracks and combinations for drivers to showcase their various talents at different venues.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got Dan Mould, still has not got a time on the board currently on my standards. He's still sitting the 18th at the moment. That's literally right at the bottom here, Zach. He hasn't got a lot of time left here. He's going to have to try and get a little bit of a wiggle on, I think, for Dan Mould.
Yeah, maybe so. Of course, not very long. We've got about, 4 minutes 20, and that puts a lot of pressure onto these final couple of laps. Of course, those are familiar with the service of iRacing. That time is 6-0, session's over, there's no finishing a lap as such, so Dan Mould really needs to put a good lap time. You can see, not bad on this lap, of course, not the best first sector, punching in some fairly decent ones over the course of the rest of the lap, so as far as banker time goes, this might not be that bad. Of course, let's see what a very talented and a champion, of course, of the touring cars can do as he runs his way to the line and across the line. What is
still no time.
As
he's off track.
Validated again.
Validated again, and he's got 5 throughout the session at the moment, and we've got a record of. So for Dan Mould, he's not having much luck with the off-track scenario. I know there was a lot of talk about the off-tracks at Imola, and there was people who were not happy whatsoever. They were like, how is the off-tracks here so different to somewhere else? We talk about the Redbull ring, that their off-tracks are literally ridiculous at some points, and maybe Imola's the same, and this obviously can open up to the conversation of how do they do the off-tracks, you know, what's the situation, what do you class as an off-track, what do you not? You know, I think that there's many rules and inconsistencies regarding that, but at the same time, the drivers have got to keep it on the grey stuff. If they kept it on the grey stuff, they wouldn't have the off-tracks to deal with in the first place. So if you stop trying to take absolutely shed loads of curb or absolutely exit curb like he did just then, he shouldn't have this problem. But clearly, he is having the problem at the moment and can't get a time on the board.
Yeah, right, and that's such an awkward thing about qualifying, and such a controversial thing as well, because you want drivers to push the limit, right? And that's why we love seeing it. Sometimes they will overstep the mark, but a driver of such caliber as Dan Mould should be, really he knows that in the first stage of the qualifying session, you get a lap down. It doesn't need to be the lap, a lap. Keep it within. You know, brake early, get on the power late, you know, and just bed the car in nicely. But now what he's done, he's left himself literally now one lap. If he hasn't validated this one, of course, that'd be great because it's a lap that he can get onto the board. But this is literally going to be his final possible lap of the session. And it's left him with so much pressure on his shoulders at a circuit that is so difficult to overtake.
He's done it again.
And he's done it again.
Where is he doing it? That's the problem. He looks like, yeah, maybe. He looks like even coming out of Aqua Minerale. He seems to be taking a lot of curb on the exit. And he's just got to be careful. He can't be running as many curbs as like that. That's got to be an off. He was wide all four wheels off the track. He's gonna, if he doesn't set it this time, he's on a last to first challenge here.
Well, yeah, that's going to be the thing. And of course, there is an incident limit. We'll have to abide by, and you've got to be careful not to exceed that limit, which, I mean, I suppose, yeah, Imola can be a fairly easy circuit to extend that. As you say, they're all within the same circuit. No one's getting more strict track limit rules than anyone else. Everyone else has managed. Surely Dan Mould should. And I think it's
look how wide he is.
Yeah, I know, he's taking so much track. And again here, surely that's an off track. Surely that's got to be. And it's only a small thing. But the problem is that obviously everyone's in the same boat.
He's messed it up.
And yeah, he's validated it. Now, of course, he's under so much pressure. And I think it has just been a snowball effect. I think that he's left it so late into the session. The pressure is there. The pressure then has made him invalidate, which means there's put more pressure onto him, which has made him invalidate the next lap, and so on and so forth. To this point, where he's going to be starting 16th at best.
Absolutely. As well. Welcome in there. That's Rob Williams, Evening Gents, Go Deck and Gibbo. As we will bring you up the grid. We will get the grid in the next sort of 10 seconds or so here as well. And we'll be able to bring you up. It's going to be an interesting last to first for Dan Mould, seeing how he gets on here, I think, as well, Zach. He's going to have to try and move his way through the field. And hopefully, just hopefully, he might get a bit of a break. But let's bring you up the grid for race one. Adam Dalmont is on pole position with Adam McNally in second. Scott Malcolm, excellent third place there with Nick Kirstens and John Brown in fourth and fifth. Kev Aylett sixth, Stephen Van Kampen seventh, Cooper Akers eighth, Dan Peoples ninth, Dick Craver 10th, Fraser Garrity 11th, and Gary McFarlane down in 12th place. On from that is Billy Mole in 13th, Paolo Brem 14th, Carl Jacklett 15th, Dan Mould 16th, Kim Andre Bjorklund 17th, and Stuart Gibbons is down in 18th place. Late into the session for Stuart, no times on there. So Gibbo now sitting all the way down the back end here. Well, let's click on Adam McNally, as it seems Adam Dalmont might be having a little bit of an internet issue here. And the last thing I really want to do is have it all crash and go kaput because of the fact that we've clicked on him at the time that he's managed to disappear. But let's get this up and running. Let's get this underway. First 20-minute race here. Pressure for Dan Mould. He's literally 16th place at the moment. Gonna have to try and work his way through. There goes Adam Dalmont once more. Here we go now with the lights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we are green, green, green here at Imola. And it is Adam Dalmont, Adam McNally leading the way. He's blocked off Scott Malcolm straight away. On that run, down into the Tamburello here once more. Then we've got Nick Kirstens making a move on the inside of Scott Malcolm. Scott's got to decide what he's got to do here. He's going to have to try and even fight for the place or let the pros through. I think Kev Aylett may have had a bit of an issue as well going through Tamburello at the moment. We've got Dan Mould. He's up one place over Billy Mole, fighting his way through. There he is at the back of the field. Everyone got away cleanly, especially the SRL Next Gen Gold guys here. Adam Dalmont, Adam McNally, Carl Jacklett involved in a little bit of a ta-ta-ta at the back there, Zach. Everybody else, I was going to say, is through okay.
Yeah, I mean, as far as, of course, similar standards go, very easy for things to go very wrong at the start of the race at this circuit, but thankfully everyone through fairly cleanly. I think in the background, Kim-Andre Bjorklund fighting away with Paolo Brem. That's the fight for 14th place. The Norwegian trying to move his way forward. Of course, a very, very strong driver. There is Dan Mold as well, trying to pick his way through. He's lost that place, actually, to Kim-Andre Bjorklund eventually, but he's going to sail his way around the outside. Not one, not but two cars slightly off track, but, well, fair dues.
Yeah, I'm not... Yeah, well, that's an interesting way of doing that. Let's have a look and see what quickly happened to Carl Jacklett here as well as he comes into the corner. Oh, Paolo Brem. Then Paolo Brem being pushed along by Dan Mold, and that could be how they ended up getting it all tangled up there, Zach, as well. Carl Jacklett there with Paolo Brem going through Tamburello side by side, unfortunately. Could accumulate blame, but to be honest with you, at the end of the day, it's not going to benefit anybody here once more. Dalmont's still out in front with McNally. Then we've got Kirsten's up 1, Malcolm down 2. No real massive movers. I think that's the thing for me. I was expecting a little bit more shuffling, but we haven't really seen that much.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, I mean, there's just a slowdown, but McNally swapping places as well at the front. Well, Dalmont very, very close with him. Momentarily fast lap, of course, side by side here. Dan Mold trying to move his way forwards. I mean, he's going to make it 4 places if he can get this one stuck ever so slightly later on the brakes. The car on the outside, Billy Mold, of course, eventually behind as Dan Mold moves his way nicely well, the place. But yeah, in terms of shuffles, it's fairly tame. These guys have been on their best behaviour. Although side by side as a Villeneuve chicane, fair play. Just in behind Dan Papers, I think Kev Ayler and of course Akers, that's them. There's Cooper Akers just now trying to put a counter-attack potentially into Tosa. But all in all, yeah, these guys have been boys. Yeah,
they have at the moment. It seems to be quite a clean one. Billy Mold, Deck Qualver. I know Kim-Andre Bjorklund's going to want to be getting through as soon as he possibly can here. Gibbo's finding it out once more. He's got Paolo Brem and Carl Jacklett for company right the way down at the back end of the field. It looks like Gibbo may have to take a slow down there. McNally has got Dalmont in front of him. Kirsten's behind him. Malcolm's settled into a nice place, leading the AMS at the moment. He's leading the AMS by literally 3.2 seconds over Dan Peoples here. Kev Ayler, well, he's coming back from somewhere over there as they're going almost at 3 wide at one point, coming down into Variante Alta. Cooper Akers, Dan Mold, you have missed. You have missed, dear sir. Even though you just absolutely sent it there as well. Gary McFarlane and Fraser Garrity, and then over Billy Mold as well. So a big brave boy move from Dan Mold there.
Yeah, he's bringing the heat. Of course, already inside the top 10. It's actually got a fairly decent foothold inside the top 10. And once again, just going to send the move, the commitment that he's got. Again, maybe Ayler was slightly slow on the apex there, but it took courage for Dan Mold to just go, yeah, I'm just going to do it. A break late. I'm just going to stand around the outside of him. As such, or in fact, actually, that was John Brown moving his way ahead. Now, of course, Dan Mold in 8th moving very nicely as well. You've just got Malcolm. This is the fight for second. There's McNally just in behind. All in all,
had a slowdown. McNally's just had a slowdown. That's why he's lost that place to Scott Malcolm. Now we've got Billy Moll side by side with Fraser Garrity as well. Garrity's trying the outside line. Oh, there you go. The bumps and the Civic don't go together. And it didn't go together coming out of Tamburello for Garrity there. He got all wrong. Moll's now attacking on that run down into Villeneuve here. He is going to get through this time, Billy Moll, and now works his way up the Australian into 6th in class at the moment, 11th overall. So here comes Kim-Andre Bjorklund as well. He wants to make his way through once more over Garrity. Garrity there on the outside. No space left from Kim-Andre Bjorklund to allow him back on there. Didn't have to leave the space, Zach, as well, but he did give it to Fraser Garrity, and he allowed him to come back on the track.
Yeah, it's nice of him just to have that sportsmanship. Those Garrett tucking in nicely behind in the end. Of course, the more they battle, the more they break away. You can see that gap between Farland and Moll beginning to grow, and they have got to be very careful, of course, so they don't go too much. Over the course of the next 40 minutes, it might well be an unrecoverable gap. There is Paolo Brem. This is the final place inside the reverse grid contenders. Carl Jacklett just in behind. Him to be so far down this field, but expect him to be maybe moving, making some moves a little bit further forward, and maybe he will be, of course, in this free car train. I mean, most importantly, if anything else, our jacket needs to be inside the top 15.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, as I say, there are a lot of people that have struggled on this circuit. I think that's the thing. There are a lot of people struggling on Imola, and they have come out and they've all said it. Everybody said it. I have struggled. I can't get on with the track. Can't do this. Can't do that as well. The Chaos Druid, JP, is sounding as beautiful as ever. Oh. My sultry tones of my voice sending chaos to sleep there as well, I'm sure. But there we go. Stephen Van Kampen's had a bit of a... Hey, knock it off you. Stephen Van Kampen's had a bit of a nightmare. He's dropped all the way down the field. He's a lap down. He's been in the pits for nearly 2 minutes. He's gone into the pits completely on his own. I can't see any reason why Stephen Van Kampen actually went in there, but he must know why he's in there. John Brown and Dan Mould. Oh! Oh, he's off!
Oh. So the into the left.
Oh, he's come across on him. I don't know what's worse. They're teammates.
That is not the way that you want a race to go, especially obviously when you're in a championship fight. Because yeah, we're only 3 rounds in, not even, of course. But that could be the moment that we look back on in a few weeks' time and go, yeah, that's where Dan Moore got the championship.
He came over on him. John was there. John was just there. Dan got through, but then came over on him, which I do not quite understand. And that was the end result. Can't expect... Well, I don't know. John's not Harry Potter. He can't just disappear. So if Dan's going to come over on him, that's the result, right?
Yeah, you'd imagine so. Also have just checked the Discord. The SRO Next Gen, you've got the entire team of drivers in there. Dan Mould and John Brown included, of course. That's either the quietest voice chat in the world, one filled of hysterical laughter, or everyone else apart from those two completely silent, and then those two having to go at each other. They're the only 3 ways that can be going. Carl Jacklet fighting away. This is, of course, for 14th.
He's still going.
Got himself into 14th. Nicely done for the 42. Of course, solidifying that front row start for race 2 if he's able to keep it there. But, yeah, I'm sure that'll be all right. But, not ideal, really.
No, it isn't ideal. It'd be interesting to see. I'd love to be in the SRL voice chat at that moment in time, because I could probably imagine it could be quite interesting. As you say, they're either laughing, screaming, crying, or swearing at each other. So let's hope it's the laughing situation, as Cooper Akers and Kev Aylett battling it out here as well. I've got to give a shout out to Scott Malcolm. He is driving the race of his life at the moment here, Zach. We talk to him every week. He comes into the booth every single week, and don't get me wrong, I can't understand him every single week because he talks so fast in his Scottish accent, but he is doing absolutely amazing, and props where props are due here.
He'll probably still find something to moan about.
Oh, he hasn't been that bad. He's had a rough time of it over the first couple of rounds. Scott sets himself high targets, that's the issue. I think he puts... Yeah, but I think then that weight of setting himself on a high target brings the pressure on him, and then he ends up, you know, spitting bubbles everywhere. But look, come on, give him a shout, because he is second overall and holding off McNally.
Yeah, I mean, his laps have been fairly close to McNally, of course. On one lap pace, we said that Honda might be the quickest car, not necessarily the best over the course of a race distance, but for Scott Malcolm to be up there in the Hyundai, and, you know, about just over half a tenth. But just over half a tenth of Adam McNally's best lap time, and of course that last lap time as well. Not much in it at all. So as I said, props to Scott Malcolm. I think a podium is at the bare minimum for him for race 1. Let's see how he, of course, gets to in race 2. But fair play.
Yeah, Gibbo and Paolo Brem scrapping it out as well, and they're on their run down to Villeneuve. They have just swapped positions. Paolo Brem just lost that position to Gibbo and then started to look at coming back at him. That's going to be an off-track Gibbo if I've ever seen it before in my life. Kim Andre Bjortland, he's got Billy Mole tucked up right behind him as well. The Australian here, Billy, joining the series. First time seen him here as well. Cooper Akers, Kev Aylett running side by side here as well. Down into Aqua Minerale. Cooper blocking that line. And now is he going to jeopardize his exit speed? Up under the bridge they go. On their run down into Variante Alta. Cooper's half on the defensive, half not there. He's almost left the door open for Kev to... Ooh, I thought Kev was going to try there. That half-hearted defense, I think, gave Kev like a sniff, like an encouragement to go for that open doorway, and he almost did have it there as well. But Cooper's got to either defend or not defend. This half, I want to say half, half effort, there is a word there, but I'm not entirely sure what the situation is. But you don't want to be half in about it. Do you know what I mean? You want to even...
Half-hearted.
Yeah, half-hearted. That's the word I was... that wasn't the word that I was going to say, but that's the word isn't it?
The word we were allowed to say.
That's the word, yes, we're allowed to say. So he's got to make that decision now, hasn't he? He's either got to defend or he's got to just lose the position. He can't do that because that leads to somewhat confusion coming along throughout the field with Kev Aylett behind him.
Yeah, and of course, the more you defend, the more you cap yourself, because obviously he defends for 7th place, eh? He's all he's going to do is lose time to John Brown, so he's going to lose the time in front of him, but then he's going to lose the time behind him because you're going to have McFarlane, Bjorkland, Mole potentially all bunched up. Then what was initially a 1v1, say, to defend 7th place for 7.5 minutes, is very quickly invited 3 other drivers to all get involved, and well, he's not going to want that. I mean, fair play to him, of course, to hold that 3rd place overall. That's the important thing for him. Also, 7th place overall. Not really bad at all. I wouldn't be complaining with that as an am. So, obviously, 7 tenths between himself and Kev Aylett. He's going to want that, but at the end of the day, 3rd, 4th place, not a massive difference in terms of points. And obviously, if it becomes too much of a hassle to defend and you start losing time to McFarlane and Mole, it might be time to maybe think about just allowing him through and preserving a decent result, because he can very easily go from 3rd to 6th.
The problem is, it's not the fact that he could, get themselves into trouble. It's the fact that these two individuals are tied on 55 points in the championship. Kev Aylett and Cooper Akers are tied for 3rd, 2nd and 3rd in the championship on 55 points. Cooper ain't going to want to hold he ain't going to want to let Kev through. Even if he's going to sit there and defend for his life as he comes through Ravata on that start-finish straight now as well. Cooper's going to want that to defend. He is not going to allow Kev through, because it will instantly put him behind in the championship. That's all the things that Cooper's got to consider as well. 6 minutes to go here on lap 8 of Heat 1. 20-minute first race, of course. Don't forget, we've got top 15 reverse. That place is occupied by Stuart Gibbons at the moment. Jack Crowther's further down, having a nice little tidy battle with Fraser Garrity. I believe that might be Dan Mould, who is trying to come back through the field. He is lapped, of course. He is a lap down at the moment as well after his exploits that involved John Brown, his teammate, as well. Not an ideal situation for them two, but it is what it is. They've just got to get and carry on now. For these guys battling it out, is Dan going to get involved? Is he going to go and be involved with Crowther or Garrity, or is he going to sit back and think, just fight it out, boys? There's nothing I'm going to win out of this.
So, again, you have to weigh up your priorities as such and think, how much is it worth it? Because obviously, if it's an easy battle and you can win it, and Imola's a fairly easy circuit to defend, then yeah, fair enough. But it does kind of get to a point where it's like, all right, this is hurting me. It's going to be more harm than good. What's the bigger picture here? Because that's all you have to think about, is the bigger picture. The short term, yeah, maybe you can defend and you can hang on to that place for an extra lap or whatever. But if in 2-3 laps time it's going to put you under pressure for potentially losing 2 or 3 places, then you're in trouble. So it's that way up that you have to have in your head, and you have to make your mind up quite quickly is the problem.
But the Dan to go and get through, it ain't going to make a blind bit of difference, right? He's a lap down. He's got to go all the way around the track. He's got to go lap every single person and then get all the way back to Paolo Brem in 16th. I think for Dan, use it as a learning curve. You know, both of these are in the same voice chat as well, Crowther, Garrity and Mould. So if I was them, you know, just use it as a little bit of a training session almost, as Gary McFarlane and Kim Andre Bjorklund running side by side, coming down into Tamburello. Now Bjorklund on that inside. Gary McFarlane, DCW, Faulkner PC's there as well on the outside. He has just lost that place to Kim Andre Bjorklund, but that is a pro and am fight here as well, Zach. That McFarlane's got a slow down, and unfortunately he's now lost a place to Billy Moe in the process.
Yeah, easily done. As we said with Dan Moe in qualifying, how easy it is for track excursions to go, and of course Iris, if you're bad enough, it'll slow you down, really cane your momentum, and then very easy for you to lose 1, 2, maybe more places, depending obviously on where you are on the circuit. Unfortunately, on this particular occasion, well, I suppose fortunately, unfortunately, there was only one, but it's the one place and points that you don't want to be losing.
And the problem is with the slowdowns, it's not the fact that you get them, it's the fact that they actually take longer to get rid of than they are actually come up, and it says, like, you know, it could say, oh, you've got a 1 second slowdown, but it might take you 1.8 seconds to get rid of it, because by the time you've slowed down and then the time's not coming down as quickly as you're stopping, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, you've lost 2 seconds on a 1 second slowdown because it's taken longer to get rid of. Slowdowns are not easy, and that's the thing. I always try and run them. If I'm on the track like this and I'm coming down, for instance, I've got a slowdown coming out of Ravazza, I'll run it as fast as I can down into Tamburello, get down into Tosa, and then try and back off in Tosa and allow the time just to come off as I'm slow there. But depending obviously where I am, if I'm at the back, then, well, there's no much point. I might as well just stop in the middle of the race circuit.
Yeah, I've always had a because, yeah, they're a pain, aren't they? And the thing is that into some corners you'll be like, yeah, I'm going to slow down so much, and then it's like it's moved by like a little bit. Like, what? I've just lost 2 seconds to the car behind. Why? But then, distinctly, I always remember turn 3 at the Redbull Ring. You could just take a normal racing line and it'll just vanish. Like the slowdown will just leave. And I don't understand it, because you'll lose 2 seconds in one corner, but just take your normal racing line in the other, and they'll have vastly different effects on your slowdown time as a whole. So yeah, I've not always been the biggest fan of sort of slowdown penalties. I do understand them. It's like an instant punishment for your action, and it also gives you a chance to recover from it afterwards, as such, rather than just a 5 second post-race penalty. So in that aspect, but like at least make them consistent with how much time you lose.
Yep. I think that the thing is as well, I think it's the estimation of how much time you've gained by going on the side of the circuit. So for me, it could be that you go off, as you say, down into turn 3 at the Redbull Ring, and it will pick up that you've gained 1.5 seconds, and it will give you 1.5 seconds slowdown. But realistically, when you get across the line, you've probably not gained 1.5 seconds. It's probably no different in conjunction with what you have done. And I think that the fact that we can talk about it every single time, that the fact that slowdowns are just so inconsistent from circuit to circuit, nobody can really make up their mind where all of a sudden you're gaining time, where all of a sudden you aren't gaining time. There's some corners that you can come right out onto the AstroTurf as well and get away with it. And then there's other corners where you can't. And we're on the final lap of the race here. Adam Dalmont out in front, Scott Malcolm, Anna McNally and Nick Kirstens. This is the 4 that we're looking at on your screen at the moment. And I think that's the thing. If they had the track image, then stuck a counter line on the outside of the circuit, and then pulled it out 50 centimeters or whatever away from the circuit as a whole. So like group it and pull it out all together and say, right, you've got 50 centimeters of the track limit of the track. That's it. That's all you got at every circuit. Not, oh, by the way, you can do that Dan Peoples and the 3 in front have done. You're not going to get a slowdown. But if you take it anywhere else that far out wide like this corner, you're going to get a slowdown. They're just, the inconsistencies is crazy.
Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is somehow. And I suppose, yeah, everyone's in the same boat as such. The inconsistencies are from track to track and not from person to person, which I suppose is the best thing that you can have. Like, everyone's going to get the same slowdown for doing the same thing. But if you do the same thing at a different circuit, then it's a different issue as such. So I suppose in that regard, it's not that bad. It could be worse. But it's still not fun. Everyone gets frustrated at the slowdown from time to time. But Adam Dalmont, there's been no slowing him down.
No, definitely not, as he's on his way down into Ravazza now as well. The last double left-hander he's got to contend with. Barnesy, come on, Deck and Gibbo. Well, Deck is in 11th. Gibbo is in 15th here overall. But Adam Dalmont, he's going to come across the line. He's done what he needed to do with the incident with Dan Mould. He's going to get some points on him here as well. He goes over the line. Adam Dalmont takes the victory in the first opening heat here. Then comes Adam McNally. Then we've got Nick Kirsten, Scott Malcolm, Dan Peebles. Who's going to get it? Oh, Malcolm. Oh, dearie me. Kirstens took the third place. Malcolm got the win ahead of Peoples. So that couldn't have been any closer between them guys, could it really?
Oh, well, they could have done it is what it is. 5 seconds. But yeah, I mean, it could have physically been closer, but I don't think I've ever seen a closer finish between 3 people in my life, to be honest. And obviously, have a look.
Oh no, this is I'm just trying to see what Cooper Akers, how Akers lost that position to Aylett. Oh, no, we won't, because it's
maybe not
because it's moved into the next session. Thanks very much for that. I can't unfortunately look back and go and see there, Zach. So I can't tell you how he did it, unfortunately. So I can he did. I can only but presume that Cooper might have got a slowdown coming out of the Aqua Minerale, and then Kev Aylett's got him on the way down. There we go. We'll make it up as we go along. Don't forget, guys, as well, we've got a lot more racing coming up over this weekend as well on the JPB YouTube channel. So please like, subscribe, turn on the bells. We've got the iFormula Super Formula Series coming up tomorrow. That is the Hungarian Grand Prix. The VWFC 2.4 hours of Daytona for the Virtual World Sports Car Championship, the 2024 cars. And I must tell you, I drove them, and the Lamborghini, the new C63, oh my dearie God, the noise that comes out of that, the kick when you're changing gear, it is awesome. So tune in for the VWSC as well. Then we've got the iFormula F3 series on Sunday. And then, of course, we've got everybody's favourite returning F3 series from Indianapolis Road. It's the IGP fun there as well. So like, subscribe, turn on the bells. Don't forget YouTube Shorts coming out daily as well. So if you haven't had a look, you can go into the YouTube Shorts section of the JPB YouTube channel, and you'll see shorts there from the Radical Race series last night. And then tomorrow, this series will be up there also as well. So shorts going on. We've got TikTok going on. Don't forget as well, one of the most interesting things ever is we're going to have myself and Craig Jones, as you know, here as well. We will be we're recording a podcast for all things conspiracy theory here as well. So we'll be recording all things conspiracy theory over on the Conclusion Unknown YouTube channel. So please, there is a YouTube channel. Go subscribe, turn on the bells and like. The first one will be recorded Monday, so it will be live on Monday night. Go and check it out, where me and Craig just discuss all things conspiracy. We've had lots of people wanting to come onto the show already to discuss their conspiracies. So get yourselves down if you do want to join us on the show as well. It's going to be absolutely incredible. But can't wait for that one to come in on Monday. It's going to be absolutely epic. Zach, how are you on your conspiracies?
Well, I mean, I argue with my siblings as to who drank the last Pepsi, if that counts. Yes,
it does. And do you know, in my house, what I find out, Zach, as well, the fairies did it. Nobody.
Of course it is. It's always the fairies.
The fairies did it. Nobody drunk the last Pepsi, or nobody stole Dad's last chocolate, because the fairies did it. And the fairies are horrendous for stealing food, Zach.
Honestly, this day and age, cost of living crisis and everything, they need to start buying their own stuff when you think about it, really.
Either that, or I just need to pull my kids' teeth out more and get money off them when I stick it under the pillow.
Well, yeah, that is.
Get some money
And then,
back.
obviously, because your kids have any teeth, they can't nick your chocolate.
Exactly.
It's a win-win, really.
Exactly. And, you know, you want to make sure that, you know, you're saving their teeth as well. That's, you know, that's one thing that does confuse me. When you were a kid, your parents always said, don't eat too much chocolate, your teeth will fall out. I'm not being rude, but the first lot of teeth you have anyway fall out on their own. So for the first few years, you might as well eat what you like.
Yeah, but your adult teeth are still there. So obviously, you know, you erode your gums, and obviously the cavities can spread, I think, as well into your big teeth. So there, you know, there is thought to the madness. Obviously, I'm not a, so I don't claim to be, and fair play to. But you know, I think there is some thought behind it, because obviously your big teeth are still there, and you still have gums, and gums, you know, they don't go away.
No.
So you do still need. But yeah, I mean, if you start, you know, running into walls and stuff, and knock out a couple of teeth, then fair play, innit? It's like, it's a money making method when you're a kid.
Well, my daughter's been in that as well. She realised that when her teeth fall out, she got money, so she would sit in her bed and start wobbling them. And then, of course, when they weren't ready to come out because she's wobbled the doodies out of them, she ended up, she was gappy for about the last, what's she been gappy for? About last year. She's literally not had certain teeth at the front because she's wiggled them out and decided that she wanted money and knew that the tooth fairy would give it to her. So she's wiggled her teeth out, stuck them under the pillow, and now she's missing teeth.
Oh, fair enough. I mean, got some money.
Well, yeah, but but now we're waiting for her teeth to come back, hoping that they actually will come through. Yeah, you know what I mean? Hey, you say that. You've seen Stranger Things, right? That kid's teeth didn't come through for ages. I'm just saying, it was at least season 4 when he started having teeth, mate. You know, that's a long time.
We'll have to wait until season 4 until she gets hers. I don't know.
Maybe. Right, here is the grid for race 2. Stuart Gibbons is on pole with Carl Jacklett second. Gary McFarlane in third alongside Fraser Garrity. In row 3 is Deck Carver and Billy Mole. In row 4 is John Brown and Kim Andre Bjortland. Row 5, Cooper Akers and Kev Aylett. Row 6, Dan Peoples and Scott Malcolm alongside him there. The Battle of the Ams. Row 7, Nick Kirstens, Adam McNally. Row 8, Adam Dalmont and Paolo Brem. Row 9 is Dan Mould and Stephen Van Kampen. So let's get this up and running once more. Gibbo leads us away. He is off and running for the opening of race 2. He has managed to take the front. Gary McFarlane's coming back through as well over Carl Jacklett. Gary McFarlane's going to have the inside. Gary's going to try and run around the outside of McFarlane. Jacklett goes through. Gary's on the push as well. Andre Bjortland's on the push. There was, I believe that might have been Billy Mole off the side of the circuit once more here. Mould is still not making his way really through the field with Adam Dalmont out of the back and Adam McNally behind it in 8th, 17th and 18th place here. So it's still a lot of places for these guys to gain as they're coming into the first lap, of course, as well. Paolo Brem looks like he's just struggled along there, and in the middle, McFarlane is locked in a battle with Kim Andre Bjortland and John Brown all at the same time.
Yeah, quite a more of a chaotic start for this for race 2 as it was for race 1. But of course, our front runners not really making the progress you'd expect. In fact, going backwards initially off the race start, and are now going to be fighting just to make it sort of a net zero before they then start making some net gains. Akram Narani, Gary McFarlane under pressure. I believe that's Kim Andre Bjorkland, the Norwegian driver representing Norway on a number of occasions in sim racing, doing a brilliant job of that. Side by side, a little bit further down, I think it's John Brown versus Dan Paples. That's the fight for 8th place. But obviously, with it being reverse grid, you've got the quote-unquote faster guys coming through, of course, and that's why you've got no gap bigger than a second across the entire 18 cars.
Yeah, it is at the moment. You've got Malcolm at the back. He's defending hard from Cooper Akers. I'm interested to see what happened to Adam Dalmont. Oh, Adam Dalmont and Adam McNally may have just gone off track together on the start here as well. They put each other into the wall. Oh no. Adam Dalmont and Adam McNally's putting each other into the wall on the run down. There you go, just turns across him, and unfortunately for Dalmont, he's just put McNally in the wall. That's how they've ended up down there alongside Dan Mould, because of that one instant situation. But Gary McFarlane under pressure from Kim Andre Bjorkland again. That's just crazy, isn't it?
Four of their drivers on 2 separate occasions have hit into each other side by side. McFarlane trying to hang it the long way round. Bjorkland squeezes them out. Now McFarlane has been tagged round, and unfortunately I think it was Kev Aylett in the end that saw the 77 into the barrier. Now of course rejoining the circle on the left hand side. I think he should be in the clear relative to everyone else. Rejoins down in 18th place. Take another look at it, of course. I have to put that on McFarlane, to be honest.
It almost looked it, didn't it? As Billy Mole goes off the side of the circuit now. I'm not quite sure if John Brown's got a slowdown here, but whatever he's got going on, he's causing a bit of a dramatic spin in that way of the track. It looked like he's been off the side of the circuit, and now he's fighting away with Cooper Akers as they're coming in as well. Round at the end of the Piratella, on their way down to Aqua Minerale. Scott Malcolm's on the outside. Dan Mold's all of a sudden jettisoned up the 6th place here as well. Sends it on the inside of John Brown. John, well, rightfully, wrongly allows him to go through there as well. So Damold's making up places. Dec Crowther with Kim Andre Bjortland. Bjortland's just gone through. So for Bjortland now, it's now Carl Jacqueline. Bjortland's looking fast in race 2.
Yeah, fair play to him. As I've touched on, a very quick driver and continuing to show that prowess. Potentially a podium, potentially even more than that. For race number 2. So just in the background, Dan Mold takes off another place. He's into 9th ahead of Cooper Akers. So nicely done from Dan Mold. I think John Brown, that was more of a just a go for race 1, mate. Here you go. Off you go. A couple of slowdowns, I think, off the exit of Ravazza as well, but all in all fairly clean. There's someone in the background.
Billy Mole again.
Mole.
Yeah, Mole again. Not quite sure if it's Paolo Brem this time, or whether or not he's riding curbs, which is always a little bit fearful here anyway. Yeah, and the same kind of scenario. Stay off the curbs there, sir. Once more as Mole goes into the pits. Mold got past Kirsten's, which I'm quite surprised about that was as easy as that was perceived there, as Damo did get past on Nick Kirstens. I thought Kirstens might have stuck up more of a little bit of a battle. Van Kampen's in the mix here with Scott Malcolm, Adam Dalmont, John Brown and Cooper Akers. So nice little tidy battle developing there. Here once more as Adam Dalmont, as we've seen with Adam McNally, taking each other out right at the beginning on that run down here. Akers has got John Brown for company here as well. Going to be tough for Cooper Akers. He's got to try and stop this man trying to go through, and I don't think he's going to be able to do it. I think it is going to be JB all the way through as they are coming into the Piratella. He's going to have the inside again now on that run out down to Agua Minerale. Is he going to be able to get through? John Brown does get through there as well. Carl Jacqueline has had a bit of a moment. Well, not sure if he's had a moment or if he's just had an end to his evening for Carl Jacqueline. But Gibbo is under attack from Dec Crowther. Both teammates here. This could be an interesting one.
Let's bring it on. Be a very fun one. Of course, still 14 minutes left of this race to go. Still plenty of battles to be had. Fraser Garrity versus Kim Andre Bjorkland should be a very fun one ahead in that fight for first. And then, of course, we've got 1, 2, 7 cars in the fight for third place, potentially. Hang on, 1, 2, no, 5. Sorry, I should say 5. And then, of course, potentially Nick Kirsten's John Brown as well to potentially join at a later date into the fast lap. Of course, Kev Ayler setting it before Dan Mold throws it out of the water with a 55 dead, putting in some very quick times. I think nearly half a second quicker than the rest of the field, again showcasing his talent. But it's the thing is that if he'd have just done these laps in qualifying and showed this pace in qualifying, he potentially probably wouldn't have had a poor race 1. He'd have been in the same position probably for race 2, and he'd still have ended up set 7th. You know, where he is, that's wide though for Stuart Gibbons. Dan Mold the side, and he tumbles his way down, potentially outside of the top 5 after all this ends. Yeah, 7th.
Mold getting through and Aylett getting through as well. How much defending is Kev Aylett going to do here? Cooper Akers is under pressure from Adam Dalmont with Scott Malcolm there as well and Stephen Van Kampen. These guys battling it out as well all the way down here once more. Through the Piratella we go. Dalmont still managing to hold on to that place at the moment. He is third in the pros if you look at it in that way currently at the moment. So Mold's still third, but he's a long way away from the second place of Kim Andre Bjortland, who's chasing down Fraser Garrity. 4 seconds, in fact. So even if he gets through, there is Garrity, there is Bjortland there as well. So even if he gets through on Aylett, it's going to be tough for him to make gains forward because there is going to be such a bit of a gap there once more. Akers is still going at it at the back here as well. Cooper's putting up a good old show for himself as he loses a place to Steve Van Kampen here once more as well. going into the final 12 minutes. Not quite in 10 minutes to go, but Kim-Andre Bjorklund chasing down Fraser Garrity.
He is. Let's bring this on. And hopefully should be an absolute barnstorming battle between the pair of them. You can see, of course, the Audi RS3 looking very menacing in the rear view of the number 5, and I'm sure Garrity is going to start to feel that pressure. 3 turns advantage once again for the Norwegian in his pursuit for the lead. Also, pretty good lap times coming in, still improving, of course. That was an improvement on his personal best. Bjorklund constantly finding more pace. However, Garrity and his consistency, not something to shy away from at all. Steady games being made by the Norwegian.
Absolutely, Bjorklund is closing in. The group behind are closing in as well. Mold's gap now to Bjorklund is only 3.5 seconds. You can see Kraver's gap to Peoples and Eilert is literally not even barely a second at the moment. So for Dan Mold, he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. Is he going to get involved with the AM fight? He's got to try. If he's going to do it, right, he's got to kind of do them all at the same time, which, as you and I both know, well, he jumped 2, to be fair, in the first race to him, so big props for that. But he's got to do all 3 of these at the same time while they're battling for their own positions.
Yeah, it's always a headache in the mind of a sim racer. It's so stressful to be able to deal with. Of course, Damol trying to work his way forwards. Of course, he's got 3 seconds. Next pro car swapped his positions, by the way, for the lead. I think Kim-Andre Bjorklund starting to spark it in that fight for P1 with Fraser Garrity. Here comes Dan Moldo to the left. Trying to pick his way up the overall order just so he can make some sort of a dent in getting after the top 2.
Yeah, I've got a funny feeling though, Fraser Garrity may have had a slowdown there because not only, well,
legit move. Oh no, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, it looks like he's had a slowdown there, and unfortunately for Fraser Garrity, he's now stuck trying to chase after Bjorklund, who of course is quick in his own right. Mold's now got Peoples in alongside him at the moment. He's got a better run coming out of the Ravazza. What is Peoples going to do here? Of course, they are free to fight. The lap times are literally near enough. Same-o. They don't have to move out of the way if they really don't want to, but do they really want to get involved? That's going to be the question here as well. Is Peoples going to get involved? Is he going to stop Dan Mold coming through, or is he going to go early on the brakes? He went early on the brakes, and Mold is now closed in once more up into 4th place, up 13 places for Dan Mold all in all here as well. So a great run from Mr. Mold after what somewhat of a very bad race 1 when he had a collision with his teammate, which was of course John Brown, who's trying to lay behind a blinking Adam Dalmont, and I don't mean blinking anything other than his internet's having issues there as well. Looks like Gibbo might have had a slow down there as well. Adam McNally fighting away once more. He's going alongside Cooper Akers currently. Round Tozer they go, and Cooper and McNally fighting out as they're on that run. Now into the Piratella, the left-hander, of course, here. McNally's going to try and get the inside. It looks like he's going to succeed. He's later on the brakes. Akers' rear right tyre there, Zach, just hit the grass and unsettled that Elantra.
Yeah, easily done. And again, slightly pushing the limits, but easily saved in front-wheel drive cars. Nap of the rear, easy-ish to get back, depending, of course, but enough to unsettle the car nonetheless. So it shouldn't be too big of a problem, still able to continue on, and still into the final 8 minutes 40 seconds of this race. Side by side here, we've got Derek Crowder, and of course the SRL car going into the first of the 2 Ravazzas, of course, now into the final corner, and of course Derek Crowder eventually has to give up that pace, but has to be very careful though, because now it's allowed Dan Paples to close in very nicely, pushing into that final corner and have a three-way fight.
Dan Peoples here going to be under attacking Deck Guava with Kev Aylett right behind him as well. Is Dan Mold going to get close to Kim-Andre Bjorklund? That's going to be the question. 2.2 seconds on the left-hand side. You can see it there as well. Crowther's going to be under attack from Peoples. But then again, I suppose from Crowther's point of view here, he's been under attack from Peoples for the last 7 laps. And he hasn't really looked menacing for Peoples. He hasn't really looked like he's going for the position. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Maybe just waiting for a little bit later on in the race. Doesn't want to, spark something too quickly as such. I mean, again, that's a danger that you run into, you know, by battling too soon. You bring in, as we've touched on, more drivers into the fight. The longer he waits, the less fighting he's going to have to do. Maybe for Paples, he knows that he's got the pace to get past Crowther on that final lap or whatever it is. It's a risk that he's going to have to undertake, of course. But he's then able to limit the involvement that Ada has in the say, of course. And again, you know, Gibbons not really in the fight so much, being 6 seconds behind. So it would only be an addition of one in the car. He's a second back. So maybe Dan Paples, if he's got the pace and can spot a gap, we'll just go for that lead anyway.
Yeah, I would just literally look at sending it out the inside there. He's got it. Crowther was slow on the exit of outer there, and now Peoples is going to run down into the first reverser, as you say. Now Peoples is going to take it. Crowther's going to try and come back at him once more. Crowther's going to be late on the brakes. You can just see him on the right hand side. Didn't quite come alongside far enough, and now the AM lead is really hotted up because we've got Peoples, Crowther and Aylett less than a second apart once more. Fraser Garrity is that now closing in a little bit on Kim on JP Auckland, but Garrity has also got mould coming at him. So for it's so tough, because what's Garrity gonna do? Me, I would defend for my absolute life against him. I would be taking every inside. I'd be literally, I don't want to roll over, get my belly tickled and allow him through because of his damn mould, and we know it's quick, but put up a scrap, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you'd expect a little bit more, wouldn't you? Especially when it's a fight for lead. I suppose you are right, but again, that risk, maybe he doesn't, not necessarily doesn't want to win, but wants to consolidate at a decent position. You know, a first, second, or a third, all of them mean, you know, quite a lot for maybe potentially a driver like Garrity. Doesn't want to risk allowing Kirsten's down one to catch up. Maybe he doesn't feel confident enough to actually put that fight with Bjorklund. Doesn't want to, you know, come to have a crash or whatever the reason it might be. He's not been able to fight the fight, and as it stands, he's going to have to set up second. Although I don't think for very long, because Dan Mould, when he's behind you, unfortunately, Garrity, I don't really think you're going to be keeping that second place for very long if you didn't defend too hard against Bjorklund.
Yeah, I don't know. I think for me, it's always a tough scenario here. What do you do? Yes, it's risk versus reward, and we know that in general. That's going to be a slowdown or an off track, so Mould's going to make it through now. Now it's whether or not Bjorklund is going to put up a mammoth effort here, and you know, Mike Tyson, Frank Bruno scenario, scrapping it out, or if he's just going to get, I don't know, get rolled over, I suppose. Kev Aylett having a little bit of contact here once more with Dec Crowther, and unfortunately, Crowther is off the side of the circuit. Oh, Aylett, you come from a long way there.
Yeah, you're like a fair distance back. I mean, if you can run it back again.
It was miles away.
I mean,
yeah, I know.
Was it when Crowther admitted? That's the question, because obviously, if Crowther had begun to turn at an appropriate point, then it's almost as if, like, well, what are you doing? This is Paples getting...
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if we can see the wind-up to it, or if we're going to be... I think we might be a little bit... Yeah, we've got about a lap to wait here as well. So, yeah, that's a tough one to consider, isn't it? Where do you look and where do you say, actually, do you know... Whoa! That's Adam Delmont.
Ooh.
That's Delmont and Kirsten's. Oh, you can't see. Oh, as can't. You can't see a blinking car, can you?
No, that's the problem with it, and that's why in so many times where they're just like, no, can you please just leave? Of course, there, and
he's gone.
Squeeze wide. Yeah, and that's the thing, is that so many times in sim racing you'll have, if it has live race control or whatever, they'll be like, car number 5, car number 69 in this case for Adam Delmont, I suppose. It's almost a case of you pull over, please, because not only is it a hazard for you, it's a hazard for everyone else out on circuit. You need to just be in the pit and get out of that race because you are such a hazard. No one can predict a ghosted car. No one can assume where it is because it's always going to be different, and it runs such a big hazard because it's almost asking essentially for complete and utter carnage.
Yeah, and it looked like, the problem is, it looked like Kirstens went to the right thinking that Dalmont was going to be on the left. But where he disappeared and come back, it was almost like he was there. And it's hard to predict that one. Let us know what you think in YouTube chat as well, or in the comment section after the race, of course. Let us know what you think was the situation on that incident. To be honest, it was always going to be tough with the car disappearing. Yes, maybe Kirsten's, I don't know. I can't get it, Zach, to be honest, as Mold's now just about to shoot out the inside. You are not. This is the thing now, I think, for Bjorklund. He is a different prospect to everybody else. Everybody else that Mold's passed has had are in the same voice chat with him. You know, McNally, not McNally, Craiova, Garrity, John Brown, Gibbo. Bjorklund's not. He's not even on the same team. He's not even in the same postcode. So for Bjorklund, he knows he can scrap this out, and he knows he's got the pace to try and do it. So, oh! And that just about sums it up.
Definitely one way to break Mold in terms of the battle. I don't know. I don't know how to call that one. At first glance, I really don't know. Damold's ahead. Bjorklund's alongside. All depends who puts their foot down. I mean, Damold, he's skating across. He is skating across. He's understeering over the curb, and the car was drifting out. Bjorklund didn't really do much else apart from the initial net. It's just a shame because Damold, he's not really been able to catch much of a break so far this race. He didn't get a good result in race 1. Well, he didn't get a good result in qualifying. That definitely didn't help. Didn't get a good result in race 1 because of it. Started at the back of race 2 and then is now pressurised to score more points because of those previous 2 mistakes. Now, right at the end, has made a similar one, and now he's only got one last lap to make anything of it. And really, the best he's going to be able to do is 4th.
Do we think that was curb? I think that was curb assisted. I think when you try and go over the curb as he has done, your grip just goes and you're going straight on, and that's exactly what it looked like from my perspective up here in general. And you know, it's one of them scenarios that you sit back. He had the pace for Mold, so you've got to sit back and wonder, did he really need to go there? Did he really need to go at the gap at that point? Or could he have held back? Because he looked like he had the pace on Bjorklund, that's the thing. So was it a silly move at a particular silly time? And then taking the curb as he did do anyway, the car was naturally going to come out because there's zero grip practically on a curb in general. So was it more Mold's fault than it was Bjorklund's? But is there anything Bjorklund could have done? Maybe run the car out a little bit wider. It's a tough one to look at.
I mean, I personally would attribute more of that blame to Mold because he's the attacking car. It's his responsibility. Bjorklund turned in, committed, was on a line, and he stayed there. He gave Mold room. Unfortunately, Mold tapped the curb on the inside, and you could see the car was drifting out. And in the end, his rear right had Bjorklund's front left, and that was that. And now, of course, Kim Andre Bjorklund, we said he had potential of this race, up 3 places from 4th, and at the best of race 1s. Made the most of it in race 2.
Yeah, he's up 7 places here. Andre Bjorklund there as well, coming over the line. He's going to take the victory in race 2, and a great run from Bjorklund. Takes that victory in race 2. Garrity gets 2nd place here. Great move from Fraser Garrity. Dan Peebles takes the win in the AMS. And I believe it's Nick Kirstens is going to finish off the podium in the pros there. He is. So great move from Nick Kirstens. Then comes down Mold out of Dalmont and John Brown. Kev Aylett's going to take 2nd in the AMS. Great run from Kev. And then in 3rd, it's going to be Cooper Akers. So they didn't quite get away from each other here as much as they, I'm sure, for Kev Aylett's point of view, as much as he would like to. Gary McFarlane is going to be next over the line there as well after being caught up in an incident. And then here comes Scott Malcolm. Unfortunately, ended up a lap down there, and we're just waiting for Mole, who's going to be coming around the corner just about now. Now? Is he in the pit lane? And no, he is coming around the corner. There you go. Just a bit longer than I anticipated there from Billy Mole. So that will be done and dusted in race 2, and we can bring you up the final results here as well on that one. Kim Andre Bjortland is your winner here as well. Fraser Garrity in second. Dan Peebles takes the win in the AMS. Great job from Dan, with Nick Kirstens in 4th, Dan Mould 5th, Adam Damon 6th, and John Brown in 7th. Kev Aylett in 8th place, 2nd in the AMS, with Stephen Van Kampen in 9th. Cooper Akers rounds out the podium in the AMS in race 2. Stuart Gibbons, Adam McNally, and then Paolo Brem in 12th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. Gary McFarlane 14th, Billy Moll 15th, Scott Malcolm 16th, and Deck Craver down in 17th place. And then the last man on there was, of course, young Carl Jacklett. So unfortunately there, not a lot we could do, unfortunately, with Carl here as well. So, interested to see what's going to happen once again here as well, Zach. But great racing overall.
Yeah. I was fairly surprised by him, and I think it was a fairly good event. Both races really good and up to TCR standard, really. So these guys all have something to be impressed about. Big championship implications, of course, with Dan Mould not having the best of rounds, all to play for the rest of the season.
Yeah, there absolutely is here as well, and a lot more scrapping due to come down as well. But we can have a chat here once more. We can have a chat with young Fraser Garrity, who finished 2nd in race 2 there as well. He did gain 2 positions, started 4th on the race 2 grid. Fraser, welcome in, dear sir. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. How's it been for you, dude? You've had such a long time out. Then you've come into TCRs. You know, come on.
It was all right, considering I had 20 minutes practice before the race started. I don't think I've done too bad.
No, I don't think you've done too bad at all, but, you know what I mean? I always get impressed when people have so little practice but yet do so well, and you seem to be able to do that quite good as well. Did you think you were going to hold the lead? That's the question. Did you think you were going to hold back Kim Andre Bjortland?
When I saw the times coming down and then I saw Dan pop up, I was like, nah, there's no way. So I thought, honestly, I was thinking P3 or P4.
Yeah. Well,
but I'll take a P2 any day of the week.
Yeah, well, obviously Bjortland and Mould coming together. Listen, you were in the SRL chat, weren't you?
Yeah, I was.
Can you give us an insight of what went on between John Brown and Dan Mould at the moment that they come together?
No, because I wasn't really listening.
Oh, Fraser! We
gotta concentrate. You've got my own race to worry about.
We predicted 3 things: either laughing, shouting, or swearing at each other. That was the 3 that we predicted.
It was mostly the John Brown, I'm here, and then that's all I really heard.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, look, how does it feel to be back though, Fraser? You've had a while out. You know, first league race. What was it, last week? Or wasn't it? Well,
this is the first league race.
Yeah. So
August. So yeah, it's nice. It's nice to be back on the podium.
Yeah.
Hopefully be up here more often, but can't see it happening. But hey ho.
Hey, look, mate, if you have more races like that, anything's possible, right? Because everybody struggled at Imola, and especially in the Honda.
And the Honda just doesn't like the curbs. That's the problem. Just bounces you around. Obviously, I think it was in race 1. I took a bit too much curb. Full on drift king around the sides. Made it look easy, but I was cacking my pants.
We're going on to Zandvoort next week, buddy. How was it there?
I've had some good results at Zandvoort, so hopefully might be back in the booth.
Ooh, well, let's hope so there as well. Fraser, buddy, thank you so much for joining me. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Just the SRL boys. It's nice to be back and having the banter. So, and to yourself, keep up the good work.
Awesome stuff. Fraser, thank you so much for joining us there, bud, and look forward to chatting to you soon.
See you later.
Bye.
Ta-da.
Oh, nearly moved myself out of the booth then. There you go. That ain't going to be good. Right, next up, we'll have a chat with a man that finished 2nd in the AMS in race 1. Then he went and decided that he was going to take the win in race 2. He was in the mix with the pros at the beginning here as well. Let's have a chat with Dan Peebles. But Dan, how are you, sir?
Yeah, doing good. Better than Wednesday. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, you did get yourself in your own little ta-ta-tas on Wednesday, but tonight seemed a lot cleaner.
Yeah, we did have a chat with Kev before the race, before the qualifying, and we hammered on the fact that we wanted to keep it clean, especially race 2 at the start, because it's been quite a mess in the last 2 rounds. But yeah, great job by everyone to keep it clean this time. It was quite a difficult track, especially with the first corner to do so, but we managed.
Yeah, slowdown's a thing there as well. Fraser did just say that the Hondas didn't like the curbs. We've seen a lot of people, well, generally moaning about the curbs this week at Imola and the slowdowns and everything else. Did you get many slowdowns, Dan?
I got one in the last race on the last lap. But for the rest, it was mostly off tracks. Let's be honest, I think everyone this evening has used those off tracks quite a lot. You have 17 incident points. If you towards the end have quite a lot of incident points left, you can gain quite a lot of time by just using them. So yeah, it was using them tactically, I think, was the thing, which you don't hear very often in racing, using off tracks tactically.
Yeah, and I think sometimes, though, it's a great defense tactic if you've got them to spare. And let's be honest, we've all done it, and everybody who's sat out and watching has probably done it as well, to be honest with you. Going forward, though, Dan, Zandvoort, home Grand Prix next week.
Yeah, I like the track. Don't know if I like it with the TCRs, though. The fact that it has quite a lot of banking in most of the corners does help this car. So I'm expecting it to be quite a lot of fun. I'm also expecting it to be quite the same as it was this evening, very difficult to overtake. So you want to be doing well in qualifying, or else you're going to be in trouble for the first race.
Absolutely. Well, Dan, thanks so much for joining us there, buddy. Anyone you want to shout out before I let you go?
I want to shout out Chris. He wasn't here this evening. He was away. But yeah, I'm happy to see him back next week.
Awesome stuff. Well, Dan, thanks so much there, buddy. And we'll look forward to catching up with you soon on Wednesday, no doubt.
Thank you very much.
Take care. Right, next up, we'll have a chat with Scott Malcolm in the booth as well. Scott, welcome in, dear sir. How are you?
All right, I've calmed myself down after that, right? These 2 races.
Yeah, it was very up and down for you, wasn't it? You won one, and then you were involved in a little ta-ta-ta in the other one.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. It looks a bit like net code.
Yep.
And that was after Kev won and everybody about the net code. Maybe just give him a wee bit more room the next time. You know, I would have let him by eventually, but I'm battling against the Cooper in front of me. You know, a wee bit of patience. And I would like to let him by in the front straight or something like that.
Yeah, you just got to kind of be careful, I think, on that one, though, Scott. But took the victory in race 1. That's not a bad start to the evening, was it?
I was what, the overall victory.
Mate,
It was good. It was good.
You were doing awesome, and I sat here and said to Zach that you deserve praise about the fact that you were sitting in second overall. You were winning the AMs by country mile. You were doing a great job. It's just a shame that race 2 is what it is, and otherwise it would have been a perfect evening for you though as well. So. Well done to you, though, tonight, though, buddy. Absolutely amazing racing, and well done on taking that victory in race 1. Anyone you want to shout out before I let you go here this evening?
Oh, it's just going to be the usual crowd to everybody for putting these leagues on, use lot for broadcasting them and doing the commentary and all the rest of the drivers.
Awesome stuff, Scott. Thanks so much for joining us there, bud, and we'll look forward to catching up with you soon.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Take care, mate. Right, and the final interview of the evening, it was a man that gained 7 positions in race 2. He took the victory there as well. Started at the back of the grid in race 1, if I'm not mistaken, and then he goes on and wins race 2. Absolutely stellar job from the Norwegian. We know him as Kim Andre Bjortland. Welcome in, buddy. How are you?
I'm pretty good now.
Yeah, you good?
Yeah, very happy.
Yeah, taking the victory. That's not a bad thing in race 2, right?
No, it was fun. A little bit bad, but incident we're done. But I don't feel like it was my fault. So
no, I think that was one of the things we picked up on in the booth. And Zach said it quite well, actually. To be fair, it looked like Dan had come over the curb and his back end drifted into your front end. And unfortunately, that was where the contact came into it. You know what I mean? It is what it is. You can't really say it was anything other than a racing incident. It was probably more on him than it was on you. It's always tough, though, when you're going side by side like that.
Yeah, and I knew it's better to have the outside in that corner to get the inside down to Aqua Minerale, so I wanted to have outside in that corner.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, you ran through and took the victory there as well. Starting in the back in race 1, though, did you miss qualifying?
No, I changed cars last week, but I couldn't
yes.
race last week, so I had to take my quali ban this week.
Yes, I remember you actually saying it. Yes, you did. Because you weren't here last week, was you? You changed the week before. So there we go. What's the, where do we think? Kim, you're sitting in 9th at the moment. You've given yourself a win. You've given yourself some points on the board. Do you think you can wiggle your way up into the top 5 in the pro standards?
That's the goal. To maybe catch P5, but I'm not sure. I haven't raced the TCRs much last 1.5 years or something, so it's like starting on scratch again.
Absolutely, yeah, mate, as well. Well, it's good to see you, Kim, as well. Nice having a chat with you. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Of course, my teammates and everyone backing me, and you guys for hosting the racing, and Kev to make everything happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks so much there, Kim, as well. Look forward to having a chat with you next week.
Yes, thanks.
Take care. Right, and I thought that was the final interview of the evening, and I've had young Adam Delmont join me here in the booth as well. Adam's had only what can be perceived as a roller coaster ride that you would normally see at Alton Towers. He goes on, he takes the victory in race 1. He makes contact with his teammate going down the straight on lap 1 before they've even got into turn 1 in race 2. Then he had contact further down the field with Nick Kirstens as well. Let's bring him in and find out how it was for him. Adam Dalmont, welcome in, buddy. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. You've had one of them nights, mate. I could probably do a whole highlight reel just of your run at Imola. You know what I mean? How did you and Adam crash on the start going down into turn 1?
I got a good start, and I were kind of just along his side, but I didn't know he had another car on his right. Your spotter don't work for a little while when you first start, so I was getting no info, and I couldn't see anything. And I did actually say to Ads, like, oh, I'm on your left, dude, because I could see him just eking over. And I'm like, on your left, dude. And then it was too late. We kind of just did that thing that iRacing does where it just glues you and fires off one of you round front of the other one. It was just one of them things, mate. I mean, to be fair, me and Ads were still both happy enough because, to be quite honest, I expected far less results tonight anyway, so yeah, it is what it is. Unfortunate with the tap with Nick, is it?
Yeah, Nick.
Apparently I got told by a few drivers I've been blinking in and out a little bit tonight.
You disappeared right in front of Nick and he didn't know where you was.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. I mean, usually I never ever have issues, I'm never usually blinking around, so but I kept getting a weird message as well every time I went over the start finishing line saying abnormal lap due to discontinuity, or something like that anyway, but my lap times were still counting. So yeah, obviously it's forced us onto the UI now, so I was always website, so typically 2 days after it's forced me onto the UI, I've got some weird issue that's been apparent tonight, but wasn't there yesterday, so not sure, but overall race has been good, mate. Yeah, I think me and Ads have still done enough to probably take the most points from tonight, extending teams. So not sure. I think obviously I will have gained a few points on Dan tonight as well. So yeah, overall, mate. Yeah, there was a bit of an incident or two in second race, but on bigger picture, it's been a good night.
Yeah, it definitely has there as well. Just looked like that incident on board with Nick. He also looked like he hit the curb and come into you. But at that moment when there was impact, you did disappear off the side of the earth. So, there we go.
Yeah.
You can't really help it on that one. As I say, you ain't going to know what's going on. Adam, thank you so much for joining me there, buddy, as well. Anyone you want to shout out before I let you go?
You guys, as always, admin, all the drivers that take part, and people that watch the stream, and Next Gen and SRL and all their associated sponsors as usual, Paul.
All right, mate. Awesome stuff. Thank you so much, Mr. Delmont. We'll have a chat with Adam McNally, and then I'm going to get to bed, buddy. So have a good one, mate.
Good night, buddy.
All right, let's have a chat. Final chat of the evening to Mr. McNally here as well. Takes second place in the pros in race 1. Finishes a little bit further down the field in race 2. But let's listen to his opinion of his evening here as well. Adam, welcome in, buddy. How are you?
It's great. I mean, the night was a bit of swings and roundabouts. Race 1, like you said, good result. Race 2, not so good.
Yeah, you didn't make it off the line there, bud, did you? With Adam beside you.
I did, but I just Delmont had a bit of an incident, and I visited the wall. A little bit hard.
Okay, if you had to give blame on that one, who was it?
Both I maybe shouldn't have moved over. Delmont maybe should have pushed us from the back end, not the side end, but it's just what me and Delmont always crash into each other. It's just one of them things.
Oh, mate, I did wonder what the hell was going on. I got to be honest, when you both went off the side, and then all of a sudden I looked at the screen and you're right the way down at the back end, and I was like, how did they get there? But it was quite funny to watch, mate. Look.
We just made contact, and then he started going, I'm left. Well, by this point, my car's automatically going left. There's nothing I can do apart from here. Delmont shouted out, he's there to the left.
Oh, you should have just gone out and just gone, so am I, mate. I'm just coming this way. Oh, dearie me. But look, a great night for you guys in the SRL Next Gen Gold team as well. Nice little points haul in race 1. Not bad, race definitely. 2. Should be good for the teams, right?
Well, that's it. It's all about scoring points for the teams. And I just say race 1, hats off to Scott Malcolm, because I pushed to catch him for that second place.
He was stellar.
I had to send it. I just think of one place, and I just had to send it and hope. Luckily, it paid off. Made no contact, and I got through. But apart from that car just had the legs.
Yeah, he was mental in that. He did so well as well. Zandvoort next week, mate. What do you reckon?
It should be a good track. It should be some good racing. Hopefully a bit more overtaking than it was tonight. And like I said, we'll get some good touring car overtakes.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Well, Adam and Ali, thank you so much for joining us there, buddy. Anybody else you want to shout out, apart from Scott Malcolm, of course?
Just everybody else who comes makes the racing great. You guys for doing the broadcast, and everyone who does the work behind the scenes, because I know how hard it is. So thanks everyone who puts the event together.
Awesome stuff. Thank you so much, Mr. McNally, sir, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week.
Right, thank you very much.
Well, there you go, Zach. Another evening coming to an end here from the TCRs. Great racing overall. Maybe not as much overtake as we used to seeing in the TCRs, but we still saw some.
Yeah, I mean, all things considered in regards to the fact that, it is Imola as such, there was going to be a slight decrease in the fact, into the number of overtakes, but I think we still have a successful evening despite that. I think Imola posed a new challenge, and I think it sort of set us up quite well for what we're going to see probably over the next couple of weeks, in fairness. Obviously, we go to Zandvoort and then the Hungaroring the week after, and I think the racing dynamic that we're going to see over those 2 rounds probably very similar to what we had here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is. It's going to be tough for overtaking. It's going to be tough for them to get through. So let's see how it all pans out as well. That's going to bring tonight to the end. Thanks so much to everybody that has joined us here once more. And as per normal, I've been James Parfitt alongside Zach Sweeney. And take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.